aware of it and it's bringing Republicans out in large numbers, or it is because, as special elections goes, a lot of Democrats who are laser focused on undermining the Trump agenda are using any opportunity they can to do so, and therefore they are going out and voting in droves in an effort to make sure that they don't.
Line where Republicans have a slim majority in the House. And in Wisconsin, there's a race for a seat on the state's Supreme Court. Senior political correspondent Rachel Scott is outside a polling place in Milwaukee. Rachel, these elections are about...
Okay, maybe it's a sinus-related situation, because when I do this to relieve pressure, I can see better, weirdly enough.
The balance of power in the House, essentially.
Yeah, definitely, George. And not only that, it could be the first real test of how voters across the country are feeling about President Trump's agenda. So let's start here in Wisconsin, where there is a battle over a single seat on the state Supreme Court. You have the conservative judge, Brad Schibel, running against a liberal county judge, Susan Crawford. The outcome of this race will determine the balance of power on the state Supreme Court, and that could have big implications for future rulings on abortion and voting laws, but also the way the congressional maps could be redrawn in this state, which could ultimately determine control of the U.S. House of Representatives. President Trump has backed the conservative judge. Elon Musk was here handing out $1 million checks. But of course, Democrats are hoping this does turn into a referendum on President Trump's agenda. Over in Florida, there are two special elections. One is to replace former Congressman Matt Gaetz, who President Trump initially tapped to serve as his attorney general. And the other is to replace his national security advisor and former Congressman Michael Waltz. Now, both of those districts are traditionally red, but Democrats still making a play. They are keenly aware that House Republicans have a narrow majority, and what happens today could ultimately either expand that or shrink it, Michael.
Yeah, big implications, as you said there, Rachel. Thank you so much.
Turning now to an election in Wisconsin with big national implications for a...
Hey, I support Luigi, but I went through his tweets. I'm sorry that I'm being woke of the day, but his tweet on Japan really irked me as an immigrant myself. How do I cope with that? Not asking rhetorically. Really asking is an honest question. I don't care, I just don't care. That's it. I don't have, my expectations are not, go to urgent care, my guy. Everybody shut up. It's fine. Okay, calm down. All right, let's get to the Wisconsin Supreme Court race.
Seat on the state Supreme Court. Check the numbers out. It's the most expensive judicial contest in...
What did he say that could make you feel more empathy for a millionaire CEO? No, it's not even a millionaire CEO. It's a millionaire CEO whose entire livelihood relies on denying the average American the healthcare coverage that they paid for. Okay? That's an entirely different, that's a totally different spectrum of pain. We're not talking about, like, I don't know, a millionaire CEO that sells paint or something, okay? Like sitting on top of sitting on top of an empire that sells paintbrushes and paint supplies. We're talking about like a dude whose livelihood directly involves your parents getting fucked over and possibly dying. Claim denials are directly a form of violence. What if the paint has cancerous chemicals? Yeah, I mean, I guess that would be the equivalent in this situation. You know what I mean? If the CEO was knowingly selling cancerous paint, and just like tens of thousands of people every year were just dying because of the cancer in the cancer they were getting from the toxic chemicals in the paint itself or something, like that would be the equivalent. And it would have to be done in such a serialized, systematized way that like virtually every other paint company was doing the same exact practices, and tens of thousands of people were dying because of this every year. And then someone was like, yo, I'm taking revenge. Yeah, that would, like, it would have to happen over such a long period of time where like Americans that normally never understand systematic violence would be able to see what this paint CEO was doing as a systematized version of violence, like a social murder, if you will.
In history, billionaire Trump advisor Elon Musk has been heavily involved in this campaign. Ed O'Keefe is in Milwaukee. Ed, good morning.
Well, good morning. This race wouldn't normally draw so much out-of-state attention, but coming 2 months after President Trump took office in this key battleground state with so many issues at stake as well, it's kind of the perfect mix. We spoke with the two candidates stuck in the middle of this proxy fight. A high-stakes statewide election drawing national attention.
It's a big race. I love Wisconsin.
The race for a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court between Democratic-backed Susan Crawford and GOP-endorsed Brad Schimmel has raked in.
Actually, I just realized paint is not even an appropriate analog here, because paint has utility. Private healthcare does not. It doesn't need to exist at all. I just realized that even like there is quite literally no reason for this expensive middleman to exist in this process, and it's only there. It is only there to make money for the company. That's it. It has no use. It is only a burden. Like that's why it's even Paint CEO is not an appropriate analog here. It's just like, you also need healthcare. You don't need paint. No, but they are not providing healthcare. They are providing healthcare insurance. Yes, you need healthcare. You don't need healthcare insurance technically. And the only way that these guys make money is by denying you coverage that you paid for. Like that's how they make their money. It's just so messed up when you think about it. I don't know. I don't know how more people are not constantly losing their minds over how ridiculous this is.
In big money, a record $80+ million, a large part from billionaire donors like Elon Musk. Why do you think he wants to spend so much money on this race?
I think that Elon Musk is looking at this as kind of a test case because he's got business interests all over the country and probably litigation all over the country. So he wants to have some influence and some access to the Wisconsin judiciary.
Crawford says she's focused on the issues facing the battleground state.
It can be things like fair elections, the right to vote.
I'm getting reports from Wisconsin chatters, the cheesehead chatters in here. This is not the first one that has said this, but holy crap, just finished voting and there was a freaking line. My tiny ass ward doesn't even have one line. It doesn't have a line on presidential years. Yeah, this could be good or bad. It could be because Elon Musk's initiatives have actually drawn a lot of support and more people are aware of it and it's bringing Republicans out in large numbers. Or it is because as special elections goes, a lot of Democrats who are laser focused on undermining the Trump agenda are using any opportunity they can to do so, and therefore they are going out and voting in droves in an effort to make sure that they don't give another W to Trump or Elon Musk. I really hope it is the second thing and not the first. I really hope it's not that like Elon's initiatives have been incredibly successful. I'm going to say doomer and try to be wrong on purpose. Yeah, I really, really hope it's the second thing. It's that like people are like, listen, we don't like the Democrats all that much, but it doesn't really matter right now because, you know, we're going to do anything we can in our power to undermine the agenda of the right here. I'm leaning on the hopeful side. I am leaning on the hopeful side. And the only reason why I'm leaning on the hopeful side is because regardless of how dumb I would say a lot of Americans are, or how oblivious a lot of Americans are to the broad cruelty of this administration, they're still very annoyed. They're annoyed with Elon. They're annoyed with Doge. They're annoyed with Trump. They're annoyed with the markets. They're annoyed with the tariffs and the instability. And also Democrats are historically the ones who outperform the Republicans in special elections in general, because they're the ones who are way more. I mean, they're the high propensity voters. So all of that combined, I hope, is leading to a decent victory here for the Dems. I don't know. All the major indexes are red now. Yes, every single one. How is this man paying people to vote? Isn't it against the law? Yeah, but when you're rich, you can do whatever you want. Please. Don't you know that if you're rich, you're allowed to violate the laws are simply suggestions for you, okay?
Healthcare, privacy, reproductive rights.
Schimmel, who's endorsed by President Trump and Musk, offers a clear contrast.
I'm not really running on policy issues. I'm running on the need to restore objectivity to the court. That judges shouldn't be making policy decisions at all.
Chad Oldfather is a law professor at Marquette University. Why would a bunch...
That also is not exactly that's not exactly a confident man, okay? That in and of itself is not, there's not a lot of motion there, you know? There's not a lot for the Republicans who did their job. They went out, they voted, they got the great white hope to be in power again. You need something more. You need like real harm being done to you. If you're a Republican right now, you're either riding high on the victory of Donald Trump and you think it's based, okay? Or you're looking at the situation and you're like, maybe not so based. I really thought that things would get better. It hasn't gotten better yet. I'll wait to see how this goes. But all of that, in my opinion, is not exactly enough for someone to take time out of their day to go out and vote for a Supreme Court justice in the state of Wisconsin. You know what I mean? It's not.
A bunch of billionaires want to pony up if it's only to deal with issues in this one state.
I think part of it is that this is such a key state. If you believe that this court might change the congressional maps in this state, which might have the effect of altering the balance of the House of Representatives, then yeah, it could matter.
There are also special elections today in a much warmer place, Florida. First up, the race to succeed Matt Gaetz, that former congressman who had been President Trump's first pick for Attorney General. A race in the 1st Congressional District. Over in the 6th Congressional District of Florida, the race to succeed Mike Waltz.
You say that, but have you ever been in Wisconsin? No. Hearing the entire FOIA office at cdc.gov has been eliminated, that is insane. Radically transparent administration, baby.
Current national security advisor also being held. Republicans expected to win in both of these races, but Democrats are hoping that their margins are a little better, given all the anger directed at the president.
All right, we know you'll keep watching it, and thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Now, obviously, so many eyes also on Wisconsin, made most of all, and that's where we find NBC News correspondent Shaquille Brewster, live outside a polling place in Waunakee, Wisconsin. Shaquille, good to see you this morning. Give us the latest there. This is a closely watched, highly expensive race.
That's exactly right. Look, this is Wisconsin. You're expecting to see these competitive races. You're expecting to see those expensive races. But this is another top race that people are watching. And at the top of the ticket, at the top of the ballot, there is this race for Wisconsin's Supreme Court, where ideological control of the court is up for grabs. This is a court that is used to hearing some pretty meaty issues, everything from abortion rights to voting rights to union rights. It's considered all of those in the past couple of years, and it's expected to consider some of those issues in the years to come. But despite the weighty issues this court is going to be hearing, it's Elon Musk that has been driving much of the narrative, much of the attention, and has been on the minds of many of the voters, including one who I just talked to as she was walking out of here, saying that it's Elon Musk's spending in this race and the focus that Democrats have put on him that got her out here to vote in this election that she said she normally wouldn't participate in. And that's because we saw, even just this past weekend, Elon Musk came here, flew to the state of Wisconsin, had that $1 million check giveaway for signers of his petition. He also gave people $100, his super PAC gave people $100 for signing that petition. He's been front and center in many of the ads from the liberal candidate in this campaign. I talked to both candidates. I went to some of their events, and I talked about the fact that, yes, there's a lot at stake with this court seat, but I talked to them about how they feel about Elon Musk being front and center. Susan Crawford, the liberal candidate, said essentially that Elon Musk is her main opponent in this race, not the conservative judge, Brad Schimmel. Listen to what both of them told me when I asked about the Musk factor in this race.
He has spent over $22 million and counting on this race, and it is just unprecedented. This has never happened before in any kind of state judicial race or even any state race at all that I know of. Elon Musk is coming into the state of Wisconsin to try to buy a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. I think people across the country should be pretty worried about that.
He can do whatever he wants with his money. That's his money. It's not my business. If there's a problem with this, that's somebody else's problem to work out. It's not mine. It's not my business. If I gave somebody $1,000, my wife would have a talking to with me. But that's not my problem.
Schimmel there, also endorsed by President Donald Trump. And before today, you had about 650,000 voters across the state casting a ballot, voting early. Of course, you see the flow of people here behind me. And also on that ballot, I should mention, is a move to elevate the voter ID law in this state and put it into the state constitution. That's also been a motivating factor for some conservatives here, guys.
All right, NBC's Shaquille Brewster live from Wisconsin. Thank you very much. And joining us now, politics reporter for Semaphore, Dave Weigel, and former MSNBC host and contributor to Washington Monthly, Chris Matthews joins us. Good to have you both.
Not friend of the show,
Dave,
Chris Matthews.
It is so hard to predict.
There you go. You got friend of the show, Dave Weigel, and enemy of the show, Chris Matthews. Is your eyesight better? Yes, it's getting better.
Anything after the election last year. And I say that because the media, Democrats, even some Republicans were highly skeptical that they could get low propensity younger male voters out. And that's exactly what they did. So, you know, would normally say those people don't vote in off-year elections, but hard to say. What are you hearing out of Wisconsin? Are they going to come out again this time to vote in a judicial race?
Well, before he actually traveled there, I was in the state for early voting.
We smoking that Luigi pack is so funny. This is how you know. This is how you know Republicans have no values and no interest whatsoever in anything other than like whatever they consider to be is the left position or the liberal position and owning it. It's like, what do you mean? Are you a healthcare? Are you a private healthcare insurance executive? Like, what are you talking about? Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. We're smoking on that Luigi pack. It's such a funny fucking take to have. It's like, bro, they're killing your mother. They're killing your father. They're just, when they are not going to be able to pay for their cancer treatment, you'll see who's smoking on, okay? The administration is up in arms defending for-profit healthcare and trying to make an example out of this person, especially because of all of the enthusiasm that this person received, right? In a blatantly illegal act that we don't even know if he did or not, right? Allegedly he did it. I thought this would mean he's with Luigi, Gen Z here. No, he's saying we smoking on that Luigi pack, as in like he's gonna get the death penalty. Hell yeah, I'm glad he's getting the death penalty. It's just very odd. I find it strange to be siding with the admin on this. I don't know. Like you're not like a edgy boy, you know? You're not edgy at all.
When it started, Musk had really papered the state.
Hands off my CEO.
Republican voters with ads that said, this is an election that can help Donald Trump. You need to turn out again to vote for Donald Trump. You've got Turning Point Action is in the state doing the same thing. Don Jr. was in the state, and they were trying to make this an election about Trump because you're right. Their theory was if you just get 63% of those Trump 2024 voters to show up, you win this race. And Republicans historically have been able to do that. The bullish theory on Musk going there is if you want to give him credit for some of the victory in Pennsylvania last year, if you want to say there are young men who don't pay attention to politics but love him, listen, you know, they're invested in Tesla, etc., that he's excited them by showing up, you can. But at the same time, the Democratic strategy, and you heard Crawford say it, has been to say this is not about this Republican judge. This is not one of those races that's going to be about how they'd rule on the bench. It is an attempt by Elon Musk to buy the state. Their polling said that he's really unpopular, and their early vote, as usual in Wisconsin, they've gotten good at this. The Democratic early vote, they're very confident Crawford won that pretty big. They're skeptical that all these men we've been talking about, who they didn't even vote for their Senate candidate when Trump was on the ballot. They voted for Trump and came home. That's just not going to be possible for them to come out for somebody who's not Donald Trump as a stand-in for him.
So, Chris Matthews, we're used to these elections that come so soon after a presidential contest. We sometimes it's the Virginia, New Jersey gubernatorial races, and now it's this Wisconsin Supreme Court matter. But we're used to it being sort of a referendum of a sort about how a president's doing. But what's so striking and unusual about this one, sure, it's about Trump, but really, in many ways, it's about Elon Musk.
Yeah, and I think the television pictures are going to be powerful. That the cheesehead, everybody in Wisconsin is going to see that, and they'll know what it means. And has he earned the right to wear that cheesehead? There he is.
Oh, God. Blech. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I hate how corny and dumb people are getting. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. How are people responding to this positively? How do you not immediately turn around and go, this is gross. I don't want anything to do with this. I was about to vote for the Republican until this very moment, and then I laid my eyes on this, and I realized, like, this is awful.
Doesn't seem like he looks like an Araviste, a guy that shows up with a lot of money, spending millions of dollars, giving $1 million gifts away to people who are on the right side with him politically. But this is in the environment of a lot of concerns about Social Security, in an environment where, of course, abortion rights is always there, but also about Signalgate. Signalgate's right in the air, and the president has said it's over, it's closed, I've closed it, I've given a pardon to these people. I know who did it. But I'm not saying I'm going to tell you who did it. So he's acting like a big shot. This guy, Musk, is clearly acting like a big shot. I think they're going to say no to it.
I was going to ask you, Chris. I mean, you know the Upper Midwest well. I mean, you're a Pennsylvania guy. How do they respond to Elon Musk coming in? You know, and by the way, I hear a lot of people giving Elon Musk credit for winning Pennsylvania. I mean, you know, Trump won Pennsylvania. I mean, you and I know how politics work. They vote for the guy on the top line. They don't vote for endorsers or this or that or the other. I'm just curious. This race is about Musk in Wisconsin, not so much even about Trump. How does that play?
I think it plays badly. I think people are going to say, you know, this is a tough state. Wisconsin's always been decisive, going all the way back to the Kennedy-Humphrey debate, the primary back in '60. It's always mattered, and it's always been close. And I think they're going to say, wait a minute, my vote counts, his vote doesn't. Giving away $1 million gift certificates for voting, supporting the right side, it must bother people. And that Republican candidate, did you see that weird answer he had? I don't care what's going on about his spending his money. Of course you care. He's spending money for your side. You got to talk about that and what voters feel about that. This is democracy. You don't have to. You shouldn't be buying elections so flagrantly. And look at this. This is flagrant. Look at the check. Look at the $1 million checks. I think people would say, I don't want to have anything to do with this kind of.
I think it's insane that this race has. This is yet another race where the needle is moved, where there are hundreds of millions of dollars being spent on a special election on a Supreme Court judge. How do people not realize that this is insane? How do people not look at this and go, dude, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Like, Elon Musk doing this comical $1 million check thing is not even the most psychotic aspect of this. Elon Musk personally contributed to the hundreds of millions of dollars that have been spent on this, right? Spent on this individual race, but like, they're spending Senate race money now. America is so cooked, man. How is this democracy? How is this democracy?
Politics, I think.
Well, we'll see.
I think Wisconsin goes for the Democratic judge.
All right.
Where's George Soros when we need him? George Soros has no motion. He has nothing. He is a broke boy in comparison to Elon. George Soros' net worth is like $7 billion. Elon's net worth is like 700 gorillion. What are we doing? Oh, I don't want any billionaires, okay? How about no billionaires? No George Soros, no Mark Cuban, no Elon Musk, no Miriam Adelson, none of it. It's so crazy. I am fundamentally against wealthy people being able to buy support.
Joining me now is Charlie Kirk, founder of Turning Point USA. Charlie, great to see you tonight. Now, we have seen a lot from the Democrat Party since 2020. We've seen what they're capable of. But what is it about Elon Musk and what he's doing that really has turned them into insane, total lunatics and criminals?
It's two primary things. Just like President Trump, he's a class traitor. He used to be part of the ruling class of the country, and he decided to defect from the orthodoxy of what it means to be a wealthy, polite person in America.
What is this haircut? What is this haircut, bro? It's like the Vegeta. Like he went to the barber and was like, "Give me the Vegeta. I need that." Is a straight up pyramid on his forehead. What is happening? Yes, Vegeta. I know. I like saying Vegeta. It's funny. Most nerds try to hide the receding hairline. Kirk is displaying it. I don't know what he's trying to display here. It's just wild. It's especially funny because his head is so large and his face is so tiny on his ginormous head. So then there's way more real estate here.
America and said, you know what? No, I'm not going to go along with the zeitgeist of the times. I'm going to challenge this idea that we have open borders and that we're wasting all of this money. So he is a class traitor, and President Trump is the most popular class traitor of this generation. So President Trump and Elon Musk have that in common. But number two is he used to be a darling of the left. Not as much as President Trump. I'd never say that President Trump was on the left, but he used to be loved by all these networks. But Elon Musk used to be the poster child of environmentalism, of clean entrepreneurship, of forward-thinking innovation. Barack Obama used to do cameos and newspaper articles and interviews alongside Elon Musk saying this is the best of the American entrepreneur. But now that Elon Musk has decided to use his fame and, most importantly, his fortune to uncover the hundreds of billions of dollars of waste and to support President Trump, they have now unleashed the hordes of left-wing activists after Tesla owners, dealerships, workers, even cheering on the decline of the Tesla stock. So President Trump and Elon Musk being class traitors and formerly friendly.
Class traitors. Yesterday, we covered Alex Jones talking about the dialectic. Today, we're hearing Charlie Kirk utilize the term class traitors. What did you think of Tesla back in 2014? I have never been a fan of Elon Musk. There's never been a moment where I liked Elon Musk. One, because I thought he was too fucking annoying. And two, because he's a billionaire. Okay? If you have an inherent antagonistic attitude towards billionaires, you are always going to be in the right. Okay? Do not trust billionaires. They will always betray you. That's it. You can't make $1 billion. You rich too? Oh my God. One, you should also have an inherent antagonistic attitude towards rich people, myself included. Okay? That is healthy. That is a healthy thing to do. But if you are comparing me to someone like Elon Musk, you are fucking stupid. Okay? Me, you, and even people who have $100 million, as a matter of fact, are closer to a homeless person on the street than they are to Elon Musk. Do you understand? Like, people with $100 million are still closer. It sounds insane. It sounds impossible to comprehend. People with $1 billion, I believe, are closer to homelessness than they are to Elon Musk. That is how much Elon Musk's wealth, that's how large Elon Musk's wealth is. You have no understanding of anything, numbers, size, anything. If you cannot comprehend this. Seconds is like 13 days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. Okay? If I ask you to wait 1 million seconds, you'd be waiting for 12 days. If I ask you to wait 1 billion seconds, you'd be there for 34 years roughly. Something along those lines. Do you understand how different of a scale that is? Do you understand how insane that is? I think the problem is with numbers, people have no understanding of the difference between 1,000 and 1 million, and people have no understanding of the difference between 1 million and 1 billion, let alone hundreds of billions. Okay? The scale, the magnitude difference there is impossible to comprehend. I don't know how else to describe it. We're talking just about 1 billion. Elon Musk has 300 of those 1 billions. Here is Reckful explaining. This is a very famous thing that he did a long time ago. Rest in peace to Reckful. Describing the difference between billionaires and millionaires.
Now, we have someone named Amhai who is top Twitch donator of all time. He has like probably $1 billion, right?
Right.
There are people in the world with $1 billion, regardless. Okay. Anyways, $1 billion, that's a big fucking number. We can see that there's a lot of zeros on top of the 100,000, but we don't really feel it. You don't really feel it until you go like this. Even though it's 10,000 times more, but here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 500,000. Copy paste that. That's $1 million, okay? Then we have to go 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 million. Let's copy paste that. That's 10 million, okay? Let's copy paste the 10 million. That's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100 million, okay? Let's copy paste the 100 million. Okay, that's 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, $1 billion, okay? And now I'm Amhai, and I'm going to donate Soda Pop in $100,000 like this.
Was that the delete key?
Yeah. And now we're going to try to find the money that we're missing now. Okay?
It's on the right. It's on the right. I see it. There it is.
You saw it. It was right there. But it's kind of hard to feel it. If I put it somewhere in the middle, you guys probably wouldn't find it. But you know what? You wouldn't find it for sure. Let's donate $2 million to my good friend Vinruki. And he could... Actually, let's donate this. Let's donate fucking $4 million. He could probably live a swell life with $4 million. Here, I'm Amhai. I'm giving Vinruki $4 million. Real quick. $4 million. I actually do not notice it's gone. I can never find it again. It's really difficult. You know? Because it's just lines missing. I'm not going to count my lines. There's so many. Jesus fucking Christ.
I don't think you guys understand. This is just 1 billion. Elon 100 plus of these, okay? It is impossible to comprehend. People do this all the time. There are a million YouTube videos about this. Like, you got so many different YouTubers who have tried to explain this, the scale, the magnitude, how different how different the numbers look like. It's so funny. Whenever people come in, it's so funny whenever people come in and go, Hasan, you're rich too. Big dog, you and I are not even a speck of fucking dust together, okay? In comparison to one guy's wealth. This is just one guy. There are hundreds of guys like Elon out there. Yeah, I mean, eat the rich text format. Wealth shown the scale. Here. Wait, why can't I scroll? I'm scrolling. It's not working though. Oh, you got to go right. Yeah. $1,000. 63 is the median U.S. household income. Here's $1 million. Here is $1 billion. Here's $139 billion. And that's Jeff Bezos. It's still going. Still going. Still going. Jeff's so wealthy that it's quite literally unimaginable. Let's keep going. Still going, still going, still going, still going, still going, still going. Maybe it'll be done eventually. We rarely see wealth inequality represented to scale. This is part of the reason Americans consistently underestimate the relative wealth of the super rich. Still going. Look at the bar down here. Like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this because it still goes. It's still like, look at the bar. Anyway. And by the way, this was when Jeff Bezos had 139 billion. His wealth has gone up, obviously, since then. Please, please, please try to comprehend. This is not only one rich person. He's not the richest person. Elon Musk is almost 3 times wealthier than Jeff Bezos. Now, that in and of itself is not even the full scale of the problem. Okay? That in and of itself is not even the full scale of the problem. The entire system is designed from the bottom up to represent the interests of people like Elon Musk, all the way down to the individual small business owner, those who own capital, those who hire people, hire wage laborers. Do you understand? So it's not even just like one singular billionaire could potentially solve this issue. It's not even that Elon Musk could, if he tomorrow got hit with like the socialism beam, would be able to dismantle the capitalist structure. One person cannot do that. Elon Musk, being as wealthy and as powerful as he is, would still not be able to do that on his own. Okay, he would not be able to buy his way to socialism. That, of course, would be stupid anyway. Why the fuck would he do that? Of course he wouldn't do that. The only way to change this system is through the bottom up. The only way to change the system is by recognizing your class position. Okay? The only way to change the system is by organizing. Because at the end of the day, the one thing that you have, the one thing that we all have, is numbers. If this was a truly democratic process, we would have been able to undermine this current existing hierarchy a long time ago. I could have $1 billion and it would be nowhere near, that money alone would not be able to put a dent in the structures that exist. As opposed to me doing this every day to 35,000 people. That is significantly more important. Okay? That's it. Let's continue.
With the left, boy, that animates them because they're trying to say, to make an example, you are not allowed to leave the ranks of high society left-wing thought.
Oh, sharp analysis, Charlie. All right. Turning Point USA, I know, spoke to some of these protesters in Phoenix. Let's watch.
We need to focus on getting Musk out.
And he has absolutely no right to have his sticky rich fingers in the American people's money.
Elon Musk is in our Treasury Department with his 19-year-old cronies, and I'm worried about my Social Security.
He should be locked up and removed from this country.
He has absolutely no idea what he's doing. It is my understanding that Elon Musk does not have any kind of degree in economics.
No.
So I don't get it. None of those guys said anything wrong. Oh, sorry, I burped. None of those guys said anything wrong. They were correct. What's the problem here? That they just like disagree? Is that what it is? Normally, at least they try to find people that they can like belittle and claim are just like silly or whatever. But in this instance, like they didn't even get any. They didn't even catch anyone like being silly or whatever. They just disagree with them, I guess.
Oh, I'd like to see his degree. Charlie, it's all the same tired talking points. Some of them don't even look like they believe what they're saying. It's almost like a performative experience for them.
That's right. First of all, credit to our amazing Turning Point USA team of front lines of gathering that footage. Some of those protesters can get rather violent, so they've done a great job. The left right now, if they get their way, they want to destroy the singular most successful American manufacturing story of the last couple decades. We're actually building cars in our country, and we're building rockets in our country, and we are the world leader on both, and they want to destroy both of that. Why? Because the politics don't align. And you can hear with some of those protesters, I totally agree, Laura. There's no thought. It's just repeating what the media has told them. But one thing that they mentioned at the end, what's his degree in economics? That's so important because Elon Musk is not an approved credentialed elite. He's not an expert. He's not a Dr. Fauci type. Instead, he built something. And that is a true threat to the American left. Someone that has taken a risk, that has built something of value, especially in the hardware space, not just the software space.
Charlie, very briefly, this Wisconsin Supreme Court race tomorrow is critical. And the media coverage of this is, oh, well, Elon Musk is pouring all this money. Yeah, he is pouring a lot of money. And it's not as much as Soros and the gang, the billionaires on the left, because they want to take at least those 2 seats that could be gerrymandered with the Supreme Court's help and flip the House. That's what the ultimate goal is, and they hope ultimately impeach Donald Trump. That's what this is about, and the media coverage of this is, it's typical.
It's massive. Wisconsin is the biggest election of 2025, according to the Wall Street Journal. We have turning point action folks on the ground right now chasing ballots. We need massive turnout. If we lose in Wisconsin, we will not lose to the Democrats. We'll lose to the couch. We will lose because we did not go and show up in record numbers. We need a working class movement tomorrow in major numbers to make sure that Schimmel wins the Supreme Court race, because if not, it might result in the Democrats and then impeachments and subpoenas, and the sequence of events from there would be detrimental to our republic. And it all starts tomorrow in Wisconsin. Also the special election for Randy Fine in Florida. Big
XQC's SF90. XQC has more money. XQC has more money. Yeah, he does. I know. What? What's the point? He also is... He has no motion in comparison to fucking Elon Musk. Juicers are so funny. I think the amount of money you have does not make you a better person regardless. I don't even think XQC would agree with that. Who cares? Why are you flexing another man's wealth? That's so strange. So odd. I have more money than you and your dad combined. Does that make me a better person? Probably not. You know? The fuck? I would go so far as to say having more money usually, more often than not, makes you a worse person overall. You know?
Big election time. I know people feel we just got over an election, but tomorrow, big election day in Wisconsin and Florida. Go out and vote.
You bet, Charlie. Everyone's got to get off the couch and get to vote. Charlie, thank you as always.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews.